Okay. Hey guys, thanks for joining in. Well, we got another person here. Hemin, how you doing?
Yes. Good evening.
How you doing? Good. I'm glad
Good.
you're
How
here.
are you?
Yeah, hopefully we can all share some ideas here. Jeff, I don't know if you can hear us. If you try talking, we couldn't hear your microphone.
You guys hear me?
Oh, there we go. Okay. Good. So you know what? Unless you have a lot of noise in your background, you can keep your mics open, in case you want to ask a question or if you got some ideas you want to share. So basically, I just wanted to kind of get an idea of, strategy wise, what you guys are like doing. And, it looks like we're all in the same boat on, trying to use the Oracle indicator. I know Garrett said he's got something coming up. I think it's a course that they're working on how this is used, but until that comes out, maybe we can share something. So this is my chart. I trade the NASDAQ, but I think everybody here likes the SPY. Is that right? Everybody likes trading SPY. It
Yeah.
Yes.
doesn't really matter for me. Here we go. I mean, patterns are all the same. So we can look at SPY. That's fine. Okay, so here I'm on a 1 minute. Okay, and I have this at 175 sensitivity. And for the most part, at least for me, it's been a little bit better for me at 175, so I'm kind of playing with those numbers and then trying to incorporate some of my indicators that I have below as extra confluences and how this is used. So that to me is, pretty important, because I just don't, for me personally, I just don't like to go off of one signal. I like to see a couple of different things happening, before I get to do that, so so let me, first I can explain like what I'm doing here. For the most part, I love to trade divergences, so I have right here is the ultimate oscillator at the top, and the one in the middle is the TSI. It's set to 6, 13, and 4. And this one down here I'm testing, and I'm kind of liking what it's doing. So basically what this is also the TSI. Okay, so what I did down here, this is the TSI. It's the same settings. I just changed the time frame to 8 minutes right here. So I'm testing something for this, only because I like to trade lower time frames. And for me, even on the TSI and on the UO, there's a lot of noise, a lot of market noise. But if you notice on the other TSI, everything seems to be pretty smooth. So when I do get a crossover and, the red is over the green, I can say that this is, on a downtrend. I mean, you can clearly see the downtrend here and you can clearly see it over here. So I'm still kind of testing it out. Now, this was like an extreme downtrend, but then like right here, you can see it. Just kind of zoom in, there we go. So like right here now where it shifts right here, you can kind of see it crossing over. So now this is kind of just telling you that this is like heading up, so I'm kind of playing around with this and trying to say, and different time frames. So by all means, if you guys saw those settings and if you guys want to try something different, if you like this idea, this is, you don't have to listen to whatever I'm saying, but I'm just kind of showing you what I'm doing right here,
What
and
was that bottom indicator again?
It was the TSI, the same one I have here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the TSI by Imbus. And the settings are 6, 13, and 4, but I changed the time frame here to 8 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and then from here, you can see this thing, heading up. So even though it's still going down right here a little bit, the overall indication of the movement is going up in this little area right here. And then once again, over here, you get like a crossover, and then obviously you can just start seeing this, dump. But you get the idea right here, how I'm kind of seeing this. And this orange line is basically anything above that orange line is bullish, and everything below the orange line is bearish, so that's how I've been doing this. So, and for me, when I trade divergences, it's fairly simple. I've studied divergences for a very long time, and yeah. Oh, I thought somebody said something. So I've studied divergences for a very long time, and I think it's just a really simple way of catching some pretty good trades. And all you really need, I mean, I know some of you do a lot of trades per day. I don't know how options work. I don't trade options. I trade futures. But when I trade futures, like 1 or 2 trades, and I could be done for like the day. So I had an idea, like, these indicators that I'm using, and I'm kind of seeing this as kind of like almost like a border, like everything, like you see this orange and this red and this teal color. So basically the red, these are all EMAs, and this came like in a bundle, like one of these things here. So it's like 25, 144, and 300 is what I'm using there, and everything is set to close. And it's just the colors that I have here, teal, orange, and red. But the interesting thing about price action, you start to see similar patterns, okay? And I'm not just talking about like bull flags or little pendants or, little, ascending channels and stuff like that, and descending channels. But the overall, like the bigger picture, we start seeing very similar patterns in how price is moving. And the way I'm seeing this here, let me take out, and this is interesting, I'll talk about this later, this ribbon, which I literally put on. I found this thing, and it's interesting because when I turned on my 3 EMAs, this green and red ribbon were going right in between the red and the orange. It was like it was planned, but I promise you it was not planned that way, but I just thought it was interesting, so let me just turn that off. Okay. So when I'm talking about patterns here, okay, so you see right here, you've got the red, the orange, and the teal. Okay. So once I see, for instance, the teal crossing above the orange, it's like I know that this is going to be like a long trade, just like how we see it like coming in over here. So there's like a sequence, and it's the same on the other hand, going down, and I'll find a better example here. But in terms of me, finding divergences on these, I'm kind of using this almost like a divider in between the top half of the price action and the lower half of price action, so like right here, for instance, this is across the red line, it's down below it now, and this is giving me a bullish divergence down here. so I can see it right here. Change that to white. There we go. And this right here is straight. So this is like even bottoms right here. And right after I find my divergence patterns, I'm noticing that the signal, the TO signal, appears like right after that. So what I do, and you've seen some of my examples that I've been testing, is I also just like to see it. I like to see the blue band go above the orange line right here. Okay, and then even on the TSI, it's crossing, it's pointing in the same direction right here. In this case, I would have liked to see, and this is why I'm kind of testing this out still. I know you'll see some other better results on this, but the third indicator down here, the third TSI, it would have been at a crossover point, showing that it's pointing up. Maybe it's like that because, it's kind of consolidating right here a little bit. So maybe that's why it's acting this way. I don't know. But I mean, if I have 2 out of these 3 indicators, that's telling me that this is going up plus the divergence pattern, then it's simple for me to go on ahead and take on this trade. So this is where I would be, coming in. So we have some nice confluences right here, and you can take this on. So here's like another nice little divergence pattern. This one is this is a bearish divergence right here. So, and once again, soon after I get the divergence, then the TO pattern appears. And once again, I like to follow, kind of make sure that this is underneath, the blue band is underneath the orange line, and this is crossing. So, and that works out really fine. And I don't know how many points you guys usually trade, or is it minimal, or you let it run a little bit, but just from seeing this, and if you're getting in here to here, I mean, this says minus 26 or 0.26. I mean, I don't know what that means to you, but maybe it's 26 points. Is that what that means? I don't know. So I don't know how you calculate how much money that comes out to you, but so far, look at this. We had 2 back-to-back divergences. So the bearish divergence is above the orange line, so it's like the top half of, the orange and the red, and then the bullish was down below. So I know if it's below, then I know I got to go up. So we could take a look at some other examples, like right here. Let's see what's happening here. So if we're right here, yeah, see right here, you get another divergence pattern right here. This one is what you would call a hidden divergence, meaning you're going with the trend. So your price action is making a higher high to the right down below, and your oscillators in this case, let's see here, if I draw a straight line, yeah, so these are equal lows right here. So this is fine for a divergence right there. And once again, you see that, guys? It's like the Oracle, the TO symbol is appearing right after I spot that divergence. And then again, it's right below, like, the red and the orange line, where, kind of like dividing the top hemisphere and the lower hemisphere of price action. So, and then from here, if you're, drawing out your zones, you can ride it all the way up to this level. And if you were on this trade going up here, that says 0.64 or 64. So I don't know if that's 64 points or not.
64 cents.
Is that 64 cents?
Yep.
Ah, okay. All right. So I guess it all depends on how much money you want to put in to make more money. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, based on the amount of contracts, also, contract price, and then 64, that's just 64 cents rise.
Beautiful. Okay.
You got it.
That's, yeah, not bad. Okay. So this is sort of like the idea that I'm how I'm using this, and it's been working out pretty good, so far. Down here, for instance, this here is not at least on this time frame. Well, let me see here. Yeah, this is okay. So this is another hidden divergence pattern right there. So you can kind of see it does the opposite. So here you're getting lower lows. Here it's a little bit of higher high. And soon after, then the TO symbol appears right here. And, just kind of making sure my confluences are meeting up. Yeah, and then in this case here, you can see it here that finally the bottom one moved up above the orange line, so it's in bullish territory, but here this TSI is pointing going upwards, and this is above the orange line, and you can move up this way. So here's where you got to be careful though. What I've noticed when there's like a strong uptrend or downtrend, I see these three bands right here. They're split apart pretty hefty, and even if you do see like a bearish divergence, it's not worth it because the buying pressure is just too much, so it's always better to find hidden divergences and just go with the trend, in this case, as you see it like this. And this is like the end of the day here in the New York session right over here. So yeah, and then coming in here, it's it's the same cycle, the same cycles. You really see these things, it goes up and then it comes down like this, so I'm really loving this one, especially this pattern right here, where you do have the orange and the red. It's up higher, and then you have the teal color comes down lower. So when I see that, I get excited because I'm going to capture a divergence and then take it going up, or at least up to, conservatively, at least up to the orange or the red band. Then again, in this case, this day, this really went up high. I think there was like news on this day, so that's why it went up that high. But you really see these patterns every day, especially this one. So this is like my A+ trade right here. I love this, and if see, here it is again. There's just like a different version of it. This is a bigger one. So here you see you have the yellow and the red band up to the top, and then down below you have the teal. So this way I know that there's going to be a divergence down this way, and it's going to come up, up this way, and then the same thing could be said the opposite, where you have the orange and the red kind of close together, and the teal line pulls up higher right in here. So I know at the top, I'm going to find a bearish divergence, which I see it right here. It goes up this way, and you can even see it on the TSI. So when I look for divergences, it doesn't matter which one of these two I find it. That's why I use both. In this case, it's also on this one, so it's double confirmation. But as long as I see it on one or the other, it's perfectly fine. And soon after the TO symbol appears, and I can take on that little trade right there, say, and then right here it just it clears the orange line, and this TSI is pointing downwards. So I've got some pretty good confluences here. I've got the divergence pattern. I've got the TSI pointing downwards, and the blue band, the UO, is underneath the orange line. So, and this is right almost at the crossover here, pointing down, but then you can just kind of follow the direction, of this as well too. So this is just a little something that, I've noticed, patterns that I've seen. Here it is, that same pattern again. The orange and red line stay up to the top. The teal one drops down, and I've got my divergence pattern right here. This is an H pattern. That's my signature trade right there. And you can see how this makes higher highs. And look at that. There's the TO appears like right after that, and you can see your price just spiked right up. So and then you can see if the next one is also a divergence too, which, let me say here, if you're never sure, you can always kind of draw your lines out, from here. No, technically this one wasn't a divergence, but I just look out for those. So and for me, I could just capture a couple of, up to 3 trades a day, 2 if I'm good, and I can just be done with it. So that's how I like to view it. So, but just kind of curious to, what do you guys think? What are you guys doing? Or be more than happy to, I could stop sharing. You want to share your screen or something like that? If you guys just want to talk about what it is that you like to, how you're trading or strategy wise. Anyone? Okay. Oh, that's cool.
So I actually I just do mostly chart reading for now. Just kind of seeing what kind of trends and patterns I can kind of spot. So I haven't been doing a whole lot of active trading lately. But I noticed, like, if you kind of take signals from like, say for instance, so multi-time frame, right? So, and kind of keeping it sort of the lower time frame still. But
Yeah.
I noticed sometimes if you go for, like, if you go for instance, looking at the 3-minute signals for like a higher time frame, and then you go into
Yeah, we can go there.
and then you say if you mark one up, and then like it drop down to 1 minute, and kind of use that for your entries. You can either just read the candles manually to just see what the shapes look like, or you can take like 1 minute signal after a 3-minute signal.
Yeah.
Sometimes those are pretty good confirmations. Just based on just a few charts I've kind of looked at.
No, that's,
kind of just looking for, like, basically how to prevent the fake outs or whatever. And so, like, by the time a 3-minute signal shows up, it's usually pretty strong.
sure.
And then if you get, like, say for instance, a follow-up 1 minute after the 3-minute, then it's usually like really good, because you're not usually going to get faked out from a 1 minute that followed a 3-minute. It kind of reduces the amount of signals you have to go off of. But that's why I said, like, you can also sometimes just look at the trend and kind of just catch some good looking candles going up on the 1 minute without necessarily going off of a second actual signal. But just drop it down from that 1 minute from the 3-minute signal seems sometimes provide some better entries and whatnot, because those sometimes you get those like instant reversals, or just get a lot of sort of like chop before you get some kind of like movement or whatever. If you kind of stay on one time frame, right? So I feel like going on a higher one and then dropping down to a lower one to get that entry. Sometimes it seems like it could provide some pretty favorable.
Yeah, it makes sense, I like to trade like 5 minutes and under, I've tried the higher time frames, it's just not me, so there's just a personal preference, but I know like the higher time frame you go, I think you get a little bit less signals too. I don't know if anybody's tried different sensitivity, settings. I think I saw on Garrett's on Facebook, I think he went up to 200 today on his setting, pay attention to that. So maybe the way price was playing out today, I guess 200, you saw something a little bit different at the 200 range. So yeah, something to look at, I guess.
Yeah, I get the impression Garrett is very good at like swapping between different settings and timeframes.
Yeah,
Because it seems he's always posting wins, but a lot of times it's like the timeframes and sensitivities are all over the place. So it's like he must be switching between all the time just to get
yeah,
the right play.
sure. But let me, I want to show you guys something like right here. This is okay, and I do get this like when I'm on a 2-minute time frame sometimes, but you see down here how you have the yellow and the red line. They're just kind of close together, and then obviously this is a divergence pattern right here. There's that pattern again I was telling you about. So here I'm just going to mark this off. That's divergence, bearish, and you get this right afterwards. But I call this like the slingshot trade, because there's a teal EMA. It reminds me of like the rubber band of a slingshot. It pulls back close to the yellow and the red, and then once you get the TO signal, it's like you let go and then price like shoots out. So that's why I call this the slingshot, and works the other way too. You can see it like right here. It's you got the red and the orange, and then you can see the teal EMA, moving right in. And once you get your signal, it's like you release the rubber band and slingshot, it's like price moves out. So you got to have some sort of fun with this too, and maybe remembering something as simple as that can kind of trigger something as you take a trade. I mean, even like this one, it doesn't have to be up in here all the way, as long as it's really close to it, and you get like the good signal right here. And here you have a few different signals, and then eventually price drops down. So yeah, my friend and I dubbed this like the slingshot trade. So just a nice way of remembering things too.
What those are EMAs?
Yeah, these are all EMAs.
What are
It's
the settings on those?
yeah, 25, 144, and 300. Just for like direction and stuff. But I was kind of, that's why I had like this ribbon in here that was earlier. Literally, that was totally by mistake. But I want to show this to you guys because I had this other idea. Now this ribbon, this is part of a whole bunch of other stuff that's on the chart, but I like the ribbon on it, so I turned everything else off and kept the ribbon on here. And like I said, this was not planned. When I turned on my other EMAs, this ribbon was like right in between the red and the orange line right here. But I don't know, I'm kind of liking the ribbon. It just kind of fills in the color, and it's just like another little visual, so an idea I had was, maybe you can take trades according to the color of the ribbon, like if you're, in this case, you got the red ribbon right in here, and then here you can only maybe take shorts, for instance. I don't know. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud right here, you know. See, like right here, it's like the red ribbon, and you can just take shorts. And then when you get like the green ribbon, you know, you can only take, you know, long positions. You know, I wonder if that can work out, you know, or if it'd be cool if oh yeah, Jeff Ripster, man, I love that guy, and I haven't used his ribbons, but I've tried them out before, you know, and I was just out of time. I wanted actually to try Ripster's his EMA clouds. Those are really nice. That's cool that you're familiar with those. So yeah, that could be something cool to try out, you know. But if Garrett was like looking, you know, maybe him and his partner, you know, can do some sort of a ribbon that can maybe like follow Price a little bit closer and stuff, you know. So then this way, as Price maybe touches the ribbon or pulls into the ribbon, and like this one right here, you know, and then when you get your EMA, you know, it's, you know, you can, it's safer to take that trade going up this way. You know, you're going with the trend, you know, like here it's touching it. That would be a nice safe trade. This one right here, the wick is touching the green. I don't know if a lot of you guys can see that, but it is touching the green. So, you know, eventually price does start to move up. But I thought that could be a trading idea. You know, right here, you do have a couple of nice long trades to take. I know it's not touching the ribbon, but it's green. So maybe that could be something to be said. I don't know. You know, so just kind of throwing out some ideas here. You know, see, like, what would you do in a situation like this? You know, I mean, well, you got the red ribbon, obviously, and then look at that. That would be a nice one. You know, so that'd be pretty cool, actually. Yeah,
Have
right.
you,
Yeah.
have you, I think it was in our Facebook group. There's, somebody posted screenshots of, that whole suite. Did you check that one out? Yeah.
Oh, the Hull suite. I think it's like by Silico or something like that.
Uh-huh. He said he had modified some settings on it and, looked pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Something that I kind of wanted to kind of take a look at. I just haven't had time yet.
Yeah, maybe I missed that one. So, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at
It,
that.
it has, because it sort of has this sort of ribbon type of EMA, and then but it's actually, I guess there's a slight difference in the way that that moving average is actually calculated, or it's a little bit more robust. I think I don't know. I just read about it very briefly, but the type of moving average they have, it's a slightly different formula. So I guess it might be possibly a little bit more responsive to trend changes, but
Yeah, probably.
I don't remember the details on how or why, but it seemed like it was pretty interesting and maybe worth checking out, and possibly checking out based on the settings that person kind of posted. I don't really remember what the settings were, but I saved it somewhere.
Yeah, it could be worth. Yeah, that's a good idea. Does anybody trade higher time frames like 5 or 15 or anything like that? Just kind of curious.
I'd love to talk to someone that does. I've been trying with Ripster's clouds. I've been experimenting using for, I don't know, probably almost 6 months now. And you know, he has all the rules that he posts, right, and educational content, and he talks about, you know, using higher time frames to, you know, stay long and enhance profits. And man, it's hard to go past 2 minutes at times. You know, I got 4 charts open on the same ticker, but I haven't found the confidence in staying long and trusting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to go back to like 5 minute at some point. I know I saw something on the Facebook page that, you know, he was trying to see if anybody was doing like a 2-hour time frame because he works full time, and might be easier for him to take a position and, you know, let it kind of work out through a couple of hours and, you know, hopefully get some gains that way. But I don't know anybody really that's doing anything higher than something like that. I mean, it would be pretty cool. Maybe somewhere in the near future to try something like that, but I mean, right here, this is 5 minute and you got like some really, really cool signals in here, even with like this ribbon, this one, you see, I don't know if you get like a little bit of a green in here, you get a splash of green in here, but I mean, for me, this is a nice divergence trade. So that's why I'm just kind of playing. You see how this goes, guys, right here? From here down here, it's down. You're getting a lower high right here. But look at this, the same area, price is moving up. So see here, the momentum is shifting down while price is moving up. And then soon after you get your TO symbol, and then you can, this one was like a landslide right here. Look at that. So that's the beauty, I guess, if you're using higher time frames. And remember, I haven't even changed the setting yet. The setting on this thing is still, it's still at, you can see it here, it's still at 175 right here. So yeah, it's something to be said. But you guys don't trade pre-market, right? Those futures don't work I mean, not futures, but options don't work pre-market.
That's right.
Okay. Because this would have been another nice one right here. Well,
I
it's
think SPX, does SPX do pre-market? Not like as much as futures, but like an extra hour or two. I can't remember. I think I've heard SPX options might.
yeah, that I don't know. Let me clear the chart here a little bit, remove some of these drawings. Okay. So isn't this pretty interesting how this band just went right between here? So I don't know, kind of digging it so far. But like right here, since you have like a green band, you can see the color visually, and then maybe you could just take like the green trades. I don't know. I guess everyone's a little bit different on how they trade and what rules you guys are following. See, for me, right here, right off the bat, there's a nice little divergence, man. It's like right there. You can catch that right off the TSI. You can see that momentum is shifting. It's going down, and plus we are right below that blue line here. Yeah, there you go. And even this little guy down here, the third one, is also in our favor. So see, but this is not fair because the third indicator, because I am using a higher time frame, and I did have this one set to 8 minutes, so it's pretty close. So technically I should be switching this to maybe like 15 minutes or something. So depending on the time frame that you're trading on, this third indicator is going to have a different time within the indicator, a different chart time within the indicator. So this one right here, I would say, is kind of like a void because it just kind of mimics the one up above, but you still have these two confluences right here. And, I would have been taking this trade, regardless of the green band, but, maybe this could be a strategy where you can only take trades that are following the color of the band. You can kind of go back, on each type of a day and see, how many trades you can take a day, like right here, this setting is a little bit higher up, but then again, it's what I'm talking about, man, that little slingshot trade, because price pulled into the bands right here, and it released. So this to me would have been like a nice trade. I wish this TO symbol was a little bit further down. By the time you take it here, then if you're doing a quick scalp or two, then it's not so bad because you can still get some good points. I'm thinking that's what you call it. So, and same thing on this side here, towards the end of the day, you have another nice little trade because the band is green and, you know, you can just shoot right up and, you know, get some nice points that way. So, and this is on the 5-minute time frame. So it's, you know, it's something to be said. You know, here's another nice little slingshot move right here. Price just goes right into the bands right in here, and then you have your trigger, and then bam. So sorry for my special effects, guys. So see, like, what do you do on a day like this where, you know, you have a nice green band right here, but then look at this. This is a nice divergence trade, and then look at this. You know, you're not going to short this, man. I know I would be all over this, but yeah. So just ideas for now. Just trying to come up with some different strategies and stuff like that. But for sure, I'm really digging, you know, having this the orange and the red line, and it just kind of divides price action. You know, above all this, you're looking for shorts, and then below all this, below these, you're looking for longs, you know, to go up above the it's going to break right through the bands, and then, you know, the cycle continues. That's all it is, guys. It's just a big cycle. You know, what happens at the top of the trend and what happens at the bottom of the trend. That's all trading is. You know, and in my case, I find that divergences are the patterns that bridge the trend between trends. You know, because right here you got a nice bearish divergence. You know, so that's the first part of the bridge you got to cross, and then there you have it. And then once you're in, this is the meat. This is the meat of the trend. This is what everybody wants, because this is where the money is, right in here. Okay. And down this way, this is what I call, this is an H pattern, H pattern bullish divergence right here. And these H patterns are everywhere. You're going to see these patterns, you know, you can see it's an H. See how it goes like that? And it's also turns out to be a bullish divergence right in here. And then right after that, you got your TO symbol, and, you know, take that trade right there. This is like my signature H pattern bullish divergence. You know, I love this trade right here. So, and it lines up. So this is basically what it is. You know, when you're seeing price action, you know, if you dissect the trend, you got to ask yourself, what's happening at the bottom of the trend? What is it that you're seeing at the bottom of the trend that makes you take a long position? And what are you looking at the top of the trend that's going to make you take a short position? It's the same cycle over and over again. You know, just like right in here, you know, what am I seeing down here that's going to make me take this long position? I know this is pre-market, but I trade futures, and futures trades 23 hours a day. So, you know, this is like in the morning hours, or this is actually, you know, right now it's, you know, past 15 o'clock. That's when the New York session closes in the Midwest, you know, and like the Asian session opens up in here. I guess here it doesn't really show it, but, you know, you could take a trade in here, and I would see if I can spot some sort of a divergence in here that'll make me go up. You know, that's how I would see it. So over and over again, you know, the trend has a starting point and an end point. You just got to dissect what it is you're looking at. You know, what information is showing to the left that might help you out with your trade decision to the right. So, this is why it's always best to mark up and add your zones, because look at that. You got nice little zones in here. This is a nice key level. Look at, you have support over here. You got resistance, 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 so as price is coming up here, you're heading into a zone and might be a good time to start thinking about taking a short. So you follow your plan on what it is you're looking at that makes you reverse this trade, and you got to stick with it. In my case, I'm looking for divergence trades, which I do see it right in here. It's a longer bearish divergence trade, and then wait for the signal. But this is as far as it goes right here. So, and then it's the same cycle. Then I see what's at the bottom over here. Am I going to take another divergence trade? Is there not one visible? If I'm not confident about something, then I don't have to take it. I'm just going to wait till the next signal, so like right here, this is another, for me at least, is another, bearish divergence trade, right off of the TSI. You can see this going down, and then the signal appears right after that, and then you can take that, and don't forget to look left, and then you can take a trade right up to that little zone area right there. So hoping like one day I can write this down on paper, so be good to put this down. I know in earlier days I had like a better trading journal. I still have one right here in front of me, but I would have a trading plan. So what I should have said, that just kind of helps me keep my notes and or the strategy in better order. So you got to do that. I highly urge everybody to do that too. It just helps you in the long run. See, here's like this day where it was just like the trades were just going up, so there's, even if you do see like right here, guy, here's a good example. You see this right here is this would have been a nice bearish divergence. You see that? But the the buying pressure was so high, it was really tough. Look at that. You would have been probably stopped out. It would have went right up against you. So when you do see that price is making, especially on your EMAs, like the angle, even the angle that price is at, if you see price moving really steep, going up, man, then there's some serious buying pressure, and especially if you see the distance between price and the EMAs. Look at this, like the yellow one, it's pretty far out, and it does not want to go down until it finally gets some exhaustion in here, and then it finally takes a turn. So, plus here you got the green band, and here you have the orange and the red. If the orange is above the red, then here I know for sure that this is going to be a long position, all the way through. Just having these little visuals helps me out. Right here, you got the nice red band. So maybe this day could have been just taken just short positions, until you make that transition. And that's the funny thing is at what point is that transition going to be made to take, to switch, because I see this right here. Let's say, for instance, it's moving down far away from the red and the orange line. But, for me, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is the area where it's going to go long and switch. But no, it just went down a few more times. So there's like, I guess I got to figure that out, at what point does price really switch over and cross? So that's why it's always safe to take trades in the direction of the trend. You have more bars in your favor, this way as you're going down versus going the other way. So Yeah. Any questions from you guys, or you guys want to see a different time frame and see what it's looking like? Okay. I don't know if anybody is doing like 15 minutes, but is that really a good like if you're trading spies, 15 minutes good? I mean, can you get pretty good trades in there? I don't know how many signals you're going to find in like higher time frames. Like, look at this one. There's no signal in here on this day.
I do know, earlier in the chat history on the Telegram, when people were kind of discussing settings, somebody mentioned that like 15-minute had like really solid signals. So there might not be as many, but they're probably just much higher quality.
It was the 2 minute.
15.
Oh, the 15.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, if you're doing, I guess, the 15, I guess maybe it's all about the sensitivity that's in here. So let's just see something. Let's try it out. So is it the higher you get more signals or less?
I think lower is more signals.
Okay, so let's try like 155 and see what happens. Okay, yeah. So more signals are starting to pop up. Let's try 145. Guess things just shift around a little bit. 125. Get a few more signals. Maybe 125 is a good starting point, I guess. If you're doing 15 minutes. Because look at this. This is right close to the top, right here, and then you get another one close right there.
It's pretty good.
So here you're getting a signal. It'd be cool to get at least one really good signal in each day. Look at that.
And if you kind of feel like trading a bit more actively too, you can maybe do some kind of like what I was talking about before. 15-minute could be your higher time frame. Then
Yeah,
you drop down into like a 3 or a 1,
yeah,
and then trade the same direction as the 15-minute signal and just kind of go in and out there.
yeah. So when you're talking about, let me just kind of explain here. Let me get closer. All right. So for instance, here, let's do it like you can even do it here. So right here, let's say you see the bullish signal right here. We're going to use this one. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, what you could do. Yeah, just like I was like marking like vertical lines or whatever,
Yeah. You
like
can
a vertical green line,
Yeah.
and then you drop down and it keeps it there for you. So you go to the lower time frame and you kind of.
I got a circle around it. Okay. Well, that's gonna, let me delete that circle because you're not gonna get that same symbol on the other time frame. So we got that vertical line right there because you did spot, the bullish symbol, and then you drop down to a 3-minute time frame.
Either one. I mean, it's just the concept of like it could be whatever you prefer to kind of enter and
Okay.
exit on. So you could do it to 1 minute or 3-minute. So just
Okay, well-
basically dropping down to a lower frame from the higher one where the signal came from.
Yeah.
So like,
So here's a 2-minute time frame kind of in between. So right here, you would just take, long positions,
mhm.
So, but here, this is like one of those ideas where, because it was red swooping down in here, but then, eventually it turns green a little bit later up here, but still. So this would take you in that same position as just taking the green trades, which works great, and look at this, you could add some really good trades here just following that direction, so let's do that again in case somebody else has an interest in this. So here, let's do this one on the day before. So this one, okay, and then I'm going to change this to red. Okay, So now, so if you were trading and you saw this signal that appears, okay, then you would drop down, let's just say to a 2-minute. Okay, we'll go to that red line right here. And then you can take like your short, you would have already entered a short position at that point, is that right? Or would you do the short position at the lower time frame?
I guess I just been kind of like doing a little bit of like, I don't know, experimental chart reading based on sort of the concept.
Okay.
And so I don't have a hugely strong opinion on the rules of it, but basically like, yeah, just it kind of would prevent you a little bit from getting chopped out from like false signals or in those instant reversals, you know, where like, you know, for instance, here on this time frame, you can see that green, right? You got the buy after the red. So if you're just isolated signal by signal, just taking every signal, right, which is obviously, you know, not the way to go. But if you're to take every signal without any further context, you take that buy, right, and you get chopped up by the instant reversal, that sell, right, where your curse is. So it's just a way like going with the trend, right? And so how do you identify the trend? Well, there's a few ways, but maybe one of the easy ways is just get one of those signals on the higher time frame, be like, okay, well, that's your trend for the short term or whatever, or medium term, and then take signals on a smaller time frame that are in the same direction of that higher time frame signal. So that way you can kind of just hopefully stay out of some of the
Yeah,
chop that you might otherwise get stuck in.
no, that's a really good point. I really like that. It's a really nice way of doing things too. You know, remember the sensitivity was set at 125. So when you're dropping it down to the lower time frame, you know, remember before I was at 175. So you're going to have signals in different areas. So that's just something that you'll have to look out for. So maybe when you do drop back to the lower time frame, you know, I wonder.
You could possibly have it with two different charts too, maybe, and then just keep
Yeah,
static
that's true.
one
You can
open
do
with the, so you don't have to worry about
yeah,
toggling
do-
those timeframes. Because I think as long as you're on the same instrument, right, the same ticker,
yeah,
then your drawing should stay. So even if you're going across charts, I imagine that one line would show up on the other.
yeah. So here I switched this back to 175. Some of these disappeared here. I think these two stayed, but they just kind of shifted a little bit. But
It's a good example of like, if you're to take that buy signal, right, kind of like
Yeah.
without any other context, you'd get chopped out right away.
well,
And,
yeah. Well, see, and this is the beauty, like, you know, before this ribbon came in, you know, I know that everything right here for me is underneath the the orange and the red. So I know I wouldn't be taking a long symbol here. You know, I wouldn't take it long there because this is the start. This is like a fresh, you know, like a fresh little, you know, like trend that's in here. That's the start of it underneath the red and the orange EMAs, you know, but when it finally makes way down in here, and then here's why I'm going to look for the divergence to then take it going up. So this is a little too early for me to take a long position in here. So I would know not to take it in this case right here. So but yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, there's a divergence trick that I do that I've done before. It's on the 5-minute time frame, and then you switch to the 1 minute. You know, let me see if I can find one to do. It's pretty interesting. Let's see if I remembered. Haven't done this in a bit. No, it's not a divergence. It's got to be a divergence. Okay, so so right here, I'm on the 5-minute. So this right here would be like my first point right there. And then as I see price coming down right here, you know, I can already see that the divergence is forming, okay, as it's coming down this way, because then I see price going up. But so what I'm going to do is at this candle, I'm going to put a vertical line right there. Okay. So I'm going to drop down to the, now this right here would be a bullish. This would be a bullish divergence. So if you drop down to the 1 minute time frame, let's see, where was it? Yeah, right in here. You get like a better entry at the 1 minute because we were at that line right here. Okay. So, and then here is where you would see a better version of that divergence trade from the 5 minute, you know. So this is just another way of doing it, you know. So but you would see another divergence in here, you know. So that's the little trick with that, going from the 5 to the 1. So we call that like the 5 to 1 trade, you know, 5 to 1 divergence trade. And then, you know, you can see price then moved up and you get your TO symbol right after that divergence right there. So that's the interesting thing, I guess, from what I'm saying. You know, let's say you are trading on the 1 minute and you're trying to spot divergences. If you're back testing, you know, if you find, or if you think, I mean, if you see down here on the, you know, sometimes you get a little bit more clarity on your indicators, because here you have a valley right here, another valley, which this goes up on this side. So, and then you can see this going down. So if you're not sure if this is like a divergence, well, in what I've been testing so far, right after the divergence, soon after, you get your signal, you know. So maybe that's another indication, if you're trying to learn divergences, is wait for the signal and then trying to see if you can spot the divergence, you know. So it's something something to go off of. But you know, that's why I kind of, you know, the 2 minute time frame for me is just a little bit less noise when it comes to those divergence trades. You know, let's say, yeah, see
The
here.
2 minute is your favorite time frame, or?
You know, 2 to 3 minute, 2 to 3. Sometimes I do use the 1 minute, you know. But usually you'll see me like hanging out on the 2 minute, you know. And if I were to go higher, I sometimes even go, I have a friend, she uses the 4 minute time frame. So she likes trading on that because she says it's kind of in between like a 10, you know. It's, you still get a little bit more candles on the 4 minute than the 5, so it's a good in between for her. So right here you have another nice divergence. You see that? So this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to wait to kind of see the 2 peaks that you need to form a bearish, at least in this case, is 2 peaks that forms a bearish divergence. So what you would do then is you would check either on your ultimate oscillator, you know. So this one doesn't work because this goes high. You see that? It makes that same higher high on this end right there. But look at the TSI, that works because it goes lower on this side, you know. So maybe if you spot it, if you kind of see the 2 peaks, you know, and then you can just wait until you see the signal and you're like, ah, okay, I was right. That was a divergence right there. So maybe by seeing the TO signal can help you kind of spot that divergence as you're trading. You know, you just got to see an opposite of what it's doing, you know. But then again, there's also like my favorite chart, you know. I don't know if many of you have seen this. Can you guys see this? Let me see what happened here. All right, you guys still there?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw those images from one of the previous.
Yeah. Yeah,
videos.
so this is a really good chart. If you guys are new to this divergence type trading, this is a good chart to have. You know, I wonder if I can drop it. Yeah. Okay, I just dropped it right into the Telegram for those that don't have it. It's there right now. You guys can take it. So, but yeah, this is all I have, guys, just trying to get with some of you and talk about some ideas and what your trading styles are. If you learned something from this today, that's great, really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for the hour. We can do this again. It doesn't, I'm on the charts like, in the evenings anyway. So if you guys ever want to hop on the chart or something to, take a look at something, I'm pretty much around during the weeknights at least. So
I like the 8 minutes, is it TSI you said?
oh yeah, down below. Yeah, it was on the
Seems
8th.
a pretty nice way of smoothing out, some of the spikiness, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because when you do get that crossover, you can kind of see how, things just really, even like right here where it crosses over, it's the bands they're split apart, so this way it can even help you stay in the trade a little bit longer too, so maybe that's another discussion I can have another time. We could do a split chart and then I can show you if I'm trading on 2-minute and a 3-minute chart at the same time, you will see the difference in how the TSI looks and how that can help you stay in the trades longer. So we can do that if you guys like next week sometime. It's pretty cool, how to take those trades and what to look for. So all right, guys. Well, that's all I have right now. So once
Can you,
again,
can you real
Yeah,
quick, go,
sure.
I don't know if you covered it or not, but the settings on each of your indicators? Just run
Oh
through those
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick.
Look at it. So the UO is just the standard settings. I didn't change anything. It's the 7, 14, and 28 right here. The IMBIS TSI, it's the 6, 13, and 4 right there. And here I don't change the chart time frame. That's just at whatever time frame the chart is on. And then this last one, like I said, I'm still looking at. It's the same setting, 6, 13, and 4, but I changed the indicator time frame to 8 minutes, and that's if I'm using the 2-minute time frame. So if I'm going to go to like a 3-minute or a 5-minute, then I got to change this. So until I sort that out, I know right now that at the 2-minute, the 8-minute works out pretty good. Maybe if I'm on the 5-minute, maybe the 15-minute might work out good, but that's to be looked at. So yeah. Yeah, and then these are my indicators up here. It's the 3 EMAs. TradingView has different EMAs that you can find some with like 5 or 6, and then turn off the other ones. But those numbers are 25, 144, and 300. If you guys were looking at those. Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, we'll see you guys on the charts, man.
Hey, thanks again. Good session.
All right, man. Take care, bro.
Take care, guys.
We'll
Thanks
see
a
you.
lot.